Hello, everybody. Oh, here we are. I have a cat chewing on cords, so that's good. That's awesome. It's fantastic, is what it is. I'm like going kind of crazy. I feel like, and I know we're getting in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrograde happens like in a couple of weeks. I'm feeling it pretty hard. Like shit has been getting really weird with me. Like really weird. Yeah, it's been insane. So, wanted to see. Okay. We've got charts. Okay, so very excited to talk to you guys about some stuff tonight with astrology. I pulled out my astrology. I have like several astrology notebooks. Y'all know I love some notebooks. Like this notebook back here, this giant thing is like my classes. That's like classes that I've taught and teach. Like, yeah. These are my astrology notebooks. I even decorated this one. Oh my gosh, I'm such a weirdo. And then I'm going to show you guys a couple of reference books again, just to make sure that everybody like can find stuff. We're going to talk about like some other stuff. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, Jen. And yep, Jen's poster, I moved again. But I did find that poster that I always think of as Archangel Ariel. Did find that for you. I used astrology to make a connection with one of my new employees. My gosh, that's freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. Oh my gosh. So how's everybody been? How did everybody survive that Facebook, Instagram like shut down last week? It again went haywire with me. I feel like I am definitely in the hard part of Mercury retrograde. I'm double ruled by Mercury. So I always kind of get the Mercury retrograde stuff like in the pre-shadow, and then as soon as it goes retrograde, usually it loosens up a bit for me. And I don't my Mercury in my chart isn't retrograde. So it's just very interesting stuff. I certainly hope that oh my gosh. Okay. I'm hoping that Michelle joins us tonight because I've been looking at her chart and really want to talk to her about it. I love it. Let's see. What is she got? Oh, she put in the wrong date. I see what she did. Okay. Because she sent me a note and she was like, the first one I was looking at as it was current. Yeah. So I love this. Michelle has like a really awesome chart. She has Gemini rising. And I've been looking at people's charts with like telling people that, yeah, if you have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, but also if you have a lot of Leo in your chart, because Leo is the opposite sign of Aquarius. So they're going to be feeling that energy of Pluto in Aquarius as well, because it's opposing their sun, moon, or rising, or, a bunch of other stuff. Well, hey, Karen Clint, how are you? Oh, Kelsey, I'm sorry. Why was last week horrible? That sucks. I'm so sorry. Okay, couple of things. You guys, I think several of you on here also follow Gypsy Soul Surfer, that group on Facebook. Gypsy Soul Surfer is having it's a Reiki healing session. Hang on, I've got it pulled up. On March 20th. It is in hang on, I've got it pulled up. I'm just like, oh, I'm not doing good. So there she is. She has it coming up on the 20th, I believe. If you are in the area, this would be a fantastic thing to attend. It's not that expensive. It's at a new place in Villa Rica. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I really am. I think it's going to be awesome. I know I have it. Hang on. Like I saved it. I even shared it on Metaphysical Round Table. I think that it's going to be awesome. Wow, there's a lot of people that post on Gypsy Soul Surfer. See, I have it pulled up, but every time I click out of it, it like resets my feed, which is just great. It's just great. And I'm just waiting for everybody to get here for astrology. That way I don't have to repeat myself. Okay, I'll find it. This is going to be, it really is going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it myself. I'm going to go, so far it looks good. Really, I mean, events. Maybe I saved it under events. There it is. I did. It's a Reiki healing circle on March 20th, on Wednesday, March 20th. It is in Villa Rica. It's at 6 p.m. And I have shared it on Metaphysical Round Table's Facebook page if you are interested. It's a fantastic time. So make sure you check that out. See if you are able to go. I understand if you're in like Nebraska, Colorado, or Texas, because there's people in the chat on Facebook right now that are from those states and they cannot make it out to Villa Rica for this Reiki healing circle. And that's all right. That's all right. So I'm very excited about this. I also want to show you guys something that will help you out. You know, I am switching over my website. Granted, it's not the best time, and I am trying to get it done this week before Mercury goes completely retrograde, because I really, really do not want to deal with my, I don't want to deal with my, there it is. Mercury goes retrograde on April 1st. Is that a cosmic joke? Mercury goes retrograde on April 1st at 6:14 p.m. So technically, we start the shadow period like this weekend, early next week, in time for St. Patrick's Day and a huge drunk fest for the nation. Am I right? So Mercury goes retrograde on the 1st of April. And if you have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, this is probably a fine time for you. Like it probably isn't like that big of a deal to you personally. I know because I have one of my sons has Mercury retrograde in his chart. And when Mercury goes retrograde, he seems to just go, oh, everything's fitting in. Everything's like clicking into place. You got to love that. And he's a double Virgo. Oh, yeah, that's a bite that stings. So I have this pulled up. I want to show you guys. Let's make sure that I can get this on the right screen. There we go. Okay, so I've got this on the monitor. So I downloaded this from the internet. This is a really easy blank astrology chart. And I highly recommend you getting a couple of these or doing just like I did and like downloading it and putting it on your desktop so that you can print it whenever you need to do like a hobby thing or whatever. I personally used it to create my own like definitions of the individual houses so that I could really look at it and have my own personal cheat sheet, something that meant something to me. of what the houses mean. And what I like about this is it does have the, it has the signs out here. And we're going to talk about the signs that rule the houses. And then here's all the planets. This is not something that you probably will typically use. I just broke a fingernail. Are you kidding me? But it's still handy to have. What I did do, and you can see where I got it from right here. Right here, it is heavenlytruth.com. What I did do is I cut the wheel out and I made some copies with just the wheel larger, without like all the words or anything on there. And it was just really, it's fantastic. It's a nice blank wheel. It is at heavenlytruth.com, and you can download this and put it on your desktop. Okay. I think it's really handy to have. It's a really nice one. It gives you lots of room. So that way, if you want to go back and you want to create your own list of your own cheat sheet for what the individual houses mean, what they represent, what they stand for, this is your opportunity. And I do appreciate, there's a lot. Oh my gosh. I've taken so many astrology classes in the past few years. I'm an addict. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm addicted to classes. I'm a Virgo with a Gemini moon. Can't help it. So I have one from this class, one from this class, one from this class, and I have a couple of others that I was just like, well, it wasn't significant, so I just morphed them, put them all together. So this is what I want to start with tonight. Okay, so anytime you are looking at the astrological chart, the astrological wheel, the first house is going to be ruled by Aries, no matter what is in your chart. Okay, it doesn't matter, but this is what is ruling it. And the reason why I'm saying it rules it is because when we have things going on in that chart, that's in that house, the first house is about the self. It's about appearances, first impressions, beginnings, your attitude, the warrior in you, your physical body type, and it's your style. And it represents the body part that it represents is the head and the face. So that's ruled by Aries. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because the first house, Aries is the first sign. It's very much out front. How many Aries do you know? I know a fair bit of Aries, and usually there's one in the chat. Now, not all Aries are extroverts, but all Aries are just like, no, we're not doing that. And it could also have to do with the way their moon is or whatever. But our first house says a lot about us. So when we're looking at this and we're going, okay, so in our first house, this is also whole sign, and we've talked about whole sign and the modern, equivalent. I prefer those because I like to see, I like to kind of see where things are placed. But essentially, whatever your rising sign is, rules your first house. Okay, mine's Capricorn. So I have Capricorn as the self, as the physical body. I am very critical of myself. I'm very critical of my physical body. I demand a lot from myself. And believe me, I am no beauty queen here, okay? I lost 50 pounds during this stupid pandemic when nobody was seeing me. How disappointing is that? I had a photo shoot just to prove that I had lost that weight. Yeah. And now I've gained most of it back because of perimenopause. And that's a whole nother subject we're not going to get into. But this is this is the insanity. That is pretty much like a Capricorn rising, I care really a lot about my appearance. I care about myself. There's a lot of signs that fit that bill, but it definitely applies to me where Capricorn is concerned. And the first impressions, oh my gosh, I don't always give out the best first impression, but Capricorn isn't like mad at Aries for wanting to be first, for wanting to get out there. So I feel like my first house is pretty okay with each other. You know, it's predominantly an Aries like feel in the like the definition of it, what it means, but mine is completely influenced by Capricorn. And they don't hate each other. They're both bossy. I mean, really, Aries and Capricorn, all bossy all the time. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the second house. The second house is ruled by Taurus. Second house ruled by Taurus is really, I mean, and Venus rules Taurus, so we know it's about money. We know it's about money, values, work, daily routines, our environment, finances, the way that you support yourself, your relationships with money, your self-worth, how you provide and nourish yourself. And it does have a lot to do with food. Yeah, it really does. So when we're looking at that in the second house, like ruled by Taurus, look at your second house. Look at what planets you have in your second house. I don't have anything in my second house. It's kind of an interesting, oh, I don't want to pull up all that on there. I don't have anything in my second house, and I don't have a lot, to be honest with you, in my, in the bottom part of my chart. So, because I am an extrovert, I think we've met, haven't we? You know, let me see if I can find it. Hang on. You know, I get this stuff together and then I think, oh, I'm just going to tidy up before I go on. And then I put everything away. Okay, I'll just go with this one. Okay, so I don't have anything in my first four houses. I don't have anything in my first four houses. And that's fine. I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't have, that those houses don't have an effect on me. They absolutely do. But I mean, with how my stuff is, the way that I retreat, the way that I deal with emotional stuff is to retreat, because I'm an extrovert in everything except my emotions and my discipline. I don't really share that a lot. Some of you may know me personally, and you could probably see that, right? It's definitely an interesting, it's an interesting turn there. But I do have, a lot in my upper chart. So second house is ruled by Taurus. My second house is primarily Aquarius. So I would say, because Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and my second house is ruled by Aquarius, I may be feeling this like thing with the finances. I mean, I may be feeling the Pluto shift in my finances. I may be feeling that in the way that I support myself. Oh, yeah, that could be a big deal. Yeah. So, third house is, of course, Gemini. Third house is like elemental education. It's the goddess, it's moon, it's joy, it supports the fourth house. This is your home, your family, the people we see day to day. It's your normal routine is what we have in the third house. The third house is communication, siblings, friends, neighbors, and community. It's the people we see every day. You know, like the stuff that Mr. Rogers used to sing about. Yeah. And that they used to sing about on Sesame Street. So think about it. Gemini is very, very communicative. Gemini is definitely the extrovert. Gemini is the communicator. It is ruled by Mercury. So fantastic right there. But there's the third house. Okay. My third house, of course, is primarily ruled by Pisces. I can't stand this. I'm going to, this is not the chart that I'm used to seeing, and I can't visualize it anymore. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know I look like a disorganized mess, but all I did was tidy up, and then I moved my damn chart. Like, why would I do that to myself? And I just had it out because, you know, I just talked to you guys about it. I know it's been 2 weeks, but I just talked to you guys about it. So how's everybody doing? That's not my chart. I have a lot of other people's charts that I've printed for some reason. Oh, I know why I printed those, because I wanted to show you guys what the difference is between a square, which is the Grand Cross, like a major square in the chart, or like seeing that there's a Grand Cross and a mystical rectangle. There's 2 different things there. I know. Okay, screw it. I guess I'm just dealing with this. So frustrating. Like, what kind of goofy person am I? Okay, well, I'll just deal. All right, so my third house is primarily ruled by Pisces. Hey, Michelle. Hey. Well, hello. Oh my gosh, you guys. Carrie from La Hermosa Bruja is here. She's on YouTube watching. Love it, love it, love it. Don't forget to make sure that you guys check out her website. She has some awesome, awesome stuff. I tell you this every time, I know, but I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so third house is ruled by Gemini, so that's a lot of communication. So when Mercury goes retrograde, no matter what your third house is, it could affect it, because it's essentially, because it's a Gemini base, whatever's in your third house could have, like, it could be affected by that Mercury retrograde. All right, fourth house. Fourth house is ruled by Cancer. This is the backbone of the chart. This is the foundation. It's the anchor of the chart. It's about our ancestry. It's about our early life, our private life, our home, our property, our ancestors. It's like what you get from your family, like your experiences, what you get from your family. So this is definitely our private self. This is definitely your roots and your emotional foundation. I love it, love it, love it. And it's ruled by Cancer. How perfect is that for you? Okay, I'm going to switch this off because I do want to tell Michelle about her chart. Since I saw Michelle, I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so Michelle, her fourth house is ruled by Virgo. And I really like this because Virgo is a lot about family as well. So Virgo and Cancer go together very well. This is actually a good thing. I like it. I like this, Michelle. You got a lot of interesting stuff in your chart, lady. It's a little like mine. You're an extrovert primarily. Okay, let me, I don't want to publish your chart here. So I was like, I'll go back. Okay, fifth house. Fifth house is ruled by Leo. So this is about good fortune. It's the joy of Venus. It's pleasure, how you enjoy yourself or how you unwind. This is a lot of students and apprentices. It's playing, like how we play with other people. It's our self-expression. It's our creativity. And it is definitely our romance. Okay. Think about it. Leo is ruled by the sun. It's all that energy coming in. And the fifth house is definitely about enjoyment. I like it. I like it. Okay, sixth house is ruled by Virgo. Woohoo! Now, Virgo, this is going to be fun, is health, fitness, organization, acts of service, the challenging stuff that we have to do, and the people that we have to manage. So it's the joy of Mars. I'm not saying like Aries is in it, but it's the joy of Mars. So, sorry, I just need my stand because either I got to put my glasses on and mess up my eyelashes, or I have to get the stand out. Excuse me. So, sixth house is all about, again, the challenging stuff that we have to do, the people that we have to manage. It's about health, it's about fitness and organization. So my sixth house is ruled by Gemini. I know, isn't that interesting? And I have my moon and Saturn in that area as well. It's kind of interesting. Okay, seventh house. Now, we're leaving the bottom hemisphere. Do you guys see this? We're leaving this part. 1 through 6 houses, I'm going to tell you, is all about me. It's all about you personally. The first 6 houses are all about you as a person. Okay? The inside, the gooey center, okay? It's all about the inside. Hey, Gretchen, how are you? Okay, so that's what the lower 6 are. It's your private self, it's your inside, it's your personal stuff, okay? Now, the upper 6, 7 through 12, is all about us. How are we working with other people? How are we working with the world? How are we contributing? Ah, yes, Midhaven. Okay, so let's look at the 7th house. The 7th house is ruled by Libra, something else that is ruled by Venus. Libra is all about relationships, sharing. It's about having it's like our one-on-one partnerships. It's our contractual relationships. This often represents like our partners or our opponents. This is the limbo point between the self and others. Okay, so it's sort of that balance. It does make sense because when you look at a Libra, it scales, right? Okay, Kelsey is on YouTube. So what if you are only on some side or quarter or the circle? This is a really great question, Kelsey. And put a pin in that so that I will come back to it, okay? Because I'm going to forget if you don't remind me. I want to come back to that question. Let me just finish going through the houses really fast. Okay, so we're at the 7th house is about balance. It is it's the limbo point between the self and others. Okay. It's like our settling place. That's good. I like that. Okay, now we're moving into the 8th house. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. In the traditional astrology, they don't include Pluto, but I have that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Okay, so the 8th house is about intimacy, it's about sex, it's about bonding, but it's also about shared money, property, your work with other people's stuff, the idle place, what you get from your partners. It's about the loans that you get, psychological issues, and not getting enough credit. So, whatever's going on in your 8th house, that's what we're going to feel here. Wow. That's a pisser. Sorry, looking at my 8th house. Okay, 9th house. 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius. Oh my gosh. Now, I want to say this when I go into the 9th house. Your midhaven can be anywhere from the 9th house to the 11th house. I'm just letting you know. There is no wrong place for your midhaven to be, but it can be anywhere from the 9th house to the 11th house. Okay, so the 9th house is about travel, it's about study, it's about higher learning, it's our morals, it's our ethics. This is where we look at life. It's our beliefs, it's our like recognition, it's our fame. It's also like what is supporting our career. What is it that is supporting our career? And it's like the house of God. So it could have to do with our spirituality. Okay. 10th house. 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. Now, not everyone, but most people will have their midhaven somewhere between the 9th and the 10th house, in the 9th or the 10th. But I've done a lot of charts where I've seen it in the 11th. It's okay. There's not a hard and fast rule here. So the 10th house is about our career, it's our goals, it's our fame, our success, it's our achievements, and it's our public image. So that makes sense with Capricorn, okay? Because Capricorn does not like to look bad in front of people. Yeah. So, and again, a lot of times you'll see your midhaven here. This is what you are famous for, or you're deliberate, like what you're deliberately trying to accomplish in life. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I did this completely upside down, didn't I? All right. The 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. This is groups, friends, social, like our social activity, courses, society. It's also where our prejudice lies. This is how you market yourself or how you network. This is the what supports our dreams or career. This is the larger collective of good spirits. Very, very social. Again, about groups. It's about audiences. And the audiences that support you specifically and your relationship to friendships and socializing. This is really a good spirit kind of house. It's fantastic. Yeah. And then the 12th house is Pisces. Pisces, this one is about, the 12th house is about endings, healings, closure, your spirituality. It's the internal world of self-sabotage. This is where you can see like mental health issues. You can see hidden enemies and betrayal. And it's where it's difficult. I mean, but I do see it in people's charts and I'm like, oh, what happened? What happened? Because then we can move into we have aspects or transitions in our 12th house, and then they move into our first house and we kind of do like a clearing, like we're going to clean house and I'm not dealing with that kind of crap anymore, Sorry, Kelsey, I'm on it. Hey Teresa, how are you? Okay, let me see what, okay, Kelsey wants to know what is a midhaven. Very good question. So I want to pull up some of my notes. Okay, I have it laid out, right? Here we go. Okay. The midhaven is typically the highest point of the chart. This is what I have in my notes. It it's not always in the 10th house. It is a lot of the times. It is a lot of the times in the 10th house. That's why we see so much emphasis on our career in the 10th house, is because that's typically where our midhaven is. Not in every case, okay? It really isn't. It's not in every case. Some people have their midhaven in their 9th house, some have it in their 10th house, some have it in their 11th house. I really have seen it all over the place because I do the modern astrology. I don't use whole houses. I do the modern astrology. It's on astro.com. Which, by the way, if you are wanting to look at your chart, there they go. Cafe Astrology and astro.com. That's where you can get a free chart. We're going to go through Cafe Astrology, by the way. So my midhaven is like right between my 9th and 10th house. But I have another friend who I'm going to look up and see if I can find, because I do have friends that their midhaven is like in the 9th house or it's in the 11th house, and it's okay. Okay. So it is the highest point of the chart. And now I want to talk about I'm sorry, I didn't finish defining the midhaven. The midhaven is about it. How do I want to say this? It's more about like our public, it's our public standing, it's our work attitude. It really is like what we should be focusing on for our career path. Like it's the type of career that we should go into. Okay. So that kind of thing. It's the type of career that we should be going into. It's like how we behave in certain duties. Okay. There are some people, and I think we've met these people. I think all of us have met these people. There are some people that do not need to be working a retail job. I am one of them. I am. I want to be really nice to all the people that are really nice, but as soon as someone starts being an asshole to me, I'm like, you can get out of here. I am not that person. I am not someone who wants to be in a retail position. It's not a good look for me. No. So I haven't done that job in a long time. When you start looking at midhavens, you can kind of look online and see where your midhaven is and what you need to be doing. How you need to go. My midhaven is in Scorpio. Yeah. My midhaven is in Scorpio, so mine is a little interesting. It says that I should be I'm interested in personal transformation. What a shocker, right? That work has to be meaningful. Yeah. Anything that requires like really like looking below the surface, like really getting to the like core of the problem, And I think that that is definitely what I like to do, because I like to look at people's charts and go, okay, here's the bedrock of the situation. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's see if we can go through that. Yeah. So that's fun. Okay, Kelsey says hers is in the 11th house. Wow. Midhaven and Pisces. Let's just quickly see what that is. I have notes. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Midhaven and Pisces may be difficult in early life to find one's calling because of pressures of conformity. Yeah, Gretchen, and you being a Scorpio sun, I don't think you want to conform. Oh, this is so perfect. Medical professions or healing professions are favored. Also, music, art, anything creative is also really favored here and brings a lot of success because you don't feel as much pressure to have that success. God, my phone is like buzzing like crazy. So it looks like I really do. I think this is wonderful. I think that this is fantastic, actually. And having your midhaven in Pisces, where currently we have Saturn and Neptune. Oh my gosh. You know, that's a bucket of fun, right? I think I said this in my videos that like having Saturn and Neptune this close together, what you're doing is you're really feeling like the discipline and the creative pull. So you're just putting discipline in your dreams to make them come true. What about mine? Sorry if you already explained. Outside listening while brushing Odie. What sign is it? I see that it's in the 11th house, but what is your sign? What is your midhaven in, Kelsey? Wait a minute. I have your chart. 30 seconds, Kelsey. 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Go, go, go. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Okay, so Kelsey, your midhaven is in Sagittarius. Oh, this is really good. This is about being optimistic, a good teacher, anything that has a philosophical bend to it. The thing is, I think this has a lot. I think this has a lot to do with like you would be someone who could excel in um, who could excel in working like a specific kind of retail job, not like Walmart, but like something that you were selling that how you know all the people and they come in and you're like, I got what you need, I got what you need. Because having anything in Sagittarius, when you look at a Sagittarius likes loose structure. Okay. They like coming home at like the same general time, but the difference is they don't know what they're going to cook for dinner. They just may throw everything in the pot and just go. Or they like coming home at the same time every day and being home, but maybe they're up until like 3 a.m. doing laundry because they're in their safe space. They're in their happy space. They like having jobs. And this is true of midhaven and Sagittarius. They like having jobs that have structure around them, but they don't know what to expect day to day. They don't know what to expect every day. They like going into that job and going, I know I'm coming here to work, but I don't know what's going to happen. So they make really good policemen, people that work in emergency rooms, or people that are like paramedics, that they can do those jobs very well because it's the same job that they're going to, but it's something different every day. You never know what to expect. I love that. Okay, yes, Kelsey, you see, you don't want to sell stuff, but working in retail banking for 12 years, that is essentially kind of selling stuff, but not selling it, you know? So I feel like that's a good thing. You had like certain people that you worked with all the time, right? Was good. It is crazy how accurate astrology is, Gretchen. It is. It's crazy. Okay, so before I get off of the midhaven, I want to talk to you guys about what Kelsey said. Kelsey wanted to know like how her chart is weighted. Like it's weighted on one end, side to side. If you have more things on one side of your chart and nothing on the other, or if you have a lot of stuff on the upper half or the lower half, whatever, this all makes sense. Let me tell you, okay? It's really interesting. When you have things opposing each other, and Jen Strotman, who is in the chat, she does. Her chart is directly opposite each other, but I think it's like this. So she has a lot of stuff at the top and she has a lot of stuff at the bottom. And she doesn't have as much on the sides. So there is definitely like a balance thing there. And because it's primarily hitting, let me see, hang on. I think I have her chart here. Okay, I have to actually put people's names in because I have too many damn people in my saved. I had to increase my my subscription because I was saving too many charts. Okay, perfect. So Jen, and I hope I'm not like spilling anything weird here, Jen. Jen primarily, she has a lot of stuff in Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Libra. Okay. Then at the bottom, it's all in Taurus. She does have a little sideways thing with her moon and her north node, which I think is really interesting anyway, because north node is our path here, right? North node is our life experience. It's our life path. And Jen has to be emotionally attached to her life path. She has to be emotionally attached to what she's doing, where she's going, like what she's taking care of. This is why she's so good at like taking care of animals, taking care of the environment. She thinks about those things. She puts a lot of energy and time into it because she's emotionally attached to it. Having that Taurus on the like opposite end of this is a balancing act. It is. Excuse me. I'm sorry, you guys. But I can't eat any more cough drops. That was my last one for today because otherwise I'm going to be sick. It is a balancing act. And I love that she has 3 planets in Libra. She has 3 planets in Taurus. And both of those are ruled by Venus. So she is heavily influenced by Venus. Okay. So when Venus goes retrograde every couple of years, shit can get weird for Jen. I mean, let's be real honest. Am I right? I mean, shit can get weird. It's not fun. No, her Venus is not retrograde. So she has to have like everything in balance. She has to have her home life in balance because the 3rd and 4th house is predominant in the bottom, right? And at the top of like everything with her 8th and 9th house, it has to do with her money. So everything has to balance. Everything has to balance. She can't live in a bad roommate situation. that would be hell on wheels. That would be like Dante's seventh circle of hell for her. I mean, a lot of us have had bad roommates and we've lived through it. Jen would just be like, somebody's going to die. So somebody is going to die. And she has Aquarius rising, so you know that could actually happen. Yeah. So I just wanted to double check my. Yeah, I think Venus and Mars only go retrograde like every couple of years, and they're not usually retrograde at the same time. They were in 2020, which was a totally effed up situation, but you know, whatever. Yep, Mercury retrograde doesn't bother me, but when yes, you said Vegas, but I know you mean Venus, so I'm in. The reason why, no, that's not it. You actually have a lot of planets in retrograde, Jen. You have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. You were born during retrograde season of your year. So this, you know, she has a lot of planets in retrograde, but it's not her communication, and it's not her primarily influenced planet, which is Venus. Kind of neat. So that's the answer there. Now, if you have everything in the upper part or everything in the lower part, that indicates an extrovert versus an introvert. Okay. So when I look at my chart, and this is the thing with Jen, is that everything is very equal. She is both an introvert and an extrovert. Now, I happen to know her personally, so I've known her for many years, but she is both an introvert and an extrovert. She's the kind of person that she wants to talk to people, she wants to engage, but let me see your papers first. Who are you? A little bit of a cat nature there, you know, where they're just like, I want to love you, but I need to see who you are first. Let me see your documents. And then she's good with it. She's very good with it. Let's engage. Let's talk. I mean, it's not hard to have an hour and a half phone conversation with her. So let's go back to Kelsey for a second. Okay, Kelsey, and then I do want to look at Michelle's because she says that hers is all jumbled up. Kelsey's is more on the right. So for me, and this is just me, because it's equally distributed, Kelsey's chart is equally distributed in the upper half and in the lower half, but it's just to one side. And because it's more on the side of her ascendant, I feel like it's more about how she portrays herself. This is my opinion. I don't know that this is written in a book, or I've never been taught this in a class. But what you see is everything on the side of her ascendant. All the planets are on that side. When you look at the other side of Kelsey's chart, crickets. Like there's nothing over there. So what she's doing in this life, and this is, again, my opinion, when I'm reading these charts for people and I see that, I'm like, wow, they're really, really working on their growth and how they're perceived and like moving up in this life, like evolving. And I want to say, because she has Aquarius rising, that it really is about an evolution for the next few years, because that's where Pluto is. And I feel like it is like affecting that whole part of her, that whole side of her chart. How interesting. This is just really, really cool. Wow, somebody is just like buzzing the crap out of my phone. So I do love that. Real quick, Michelle, I am going to pull yours in 2 seconds. Let me just go to Gretchen's because okay. Gretchen's is really, really interesting because Gretchen has pretty much a stellium. Gretchen has a stellium in Scorpio. So she has Venus, Jupiter, Sun, and Mercury all in Scorpio. And honestly, Neptune is right on the edge. It's at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. So, I mean, it's right there. But what we're seeing is because it's a stellium, all of those planets are interacting with each other constantly. Now, here's the thing. Gretchen has most of her planets. And everything but just a couple of little outliers, everything is in the lower half of her chart. Everything. Here's the thing about Gretchen, though. What she has in the upper half of her chart is her moon, her Saturn, her North Node, and her Chiron. And of course, Midhaven, but that's everybody's. So the Chiron and North Node are not technically planets. You know, the North Node is a space. Chiron is an asteroid. So, and the Saturn is so important in your chart anyway. It's so important. So when we look at Gretchen, she looks and acts like an introvert. Really. When you like come up on her, she's, you know, you just think, oh my gosh, she's very kind. People probably take advantage of her all the time. She's just extremely kind. She's very sweet. And you just think she is an introvert. But when you get to know her, when you see the things that she cares about, the things that she wants to like help with, or the things that she gets really excited about and really emotional about, she loves to go do investigations and do ghost hunting. She's out and about doing that. She's like, oh yeah, let's go. That's fun. That's North Node in Aquarius. And Aquarius, I don't give a shit where it is in your chart. Aquarius is an extrovert. So essentially, what we see with Gretchen is her life path pulls her out of the introverted and brings her out into the extrovert. She'll talk to you. What you got? Let's look at it. You know, that kind of thing. So, but Gretchen does like her privacy. She likes to keep everything together. And her home life, oh yeah, she's in it. Traveling with her husband, traveling with key people in her family. That's a happy Gretchen. It is. Can you have a stellium in a house and a sign? If so, yes. Yes, Gretchen, because this is, you do recharge privately, Gretchen. You do. But your stellium is really in, your stellium is in Scorpio, but Neptune is just, it's at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. It is still playing, it is still like communicating with the other planets. So I'm including that in the stellium, even though it's not in the same sign. And there are lots of people that disagree with me. Lots. So you can have a stellium in a house or in a sign. Okay. There we have it. There's Jennifer's opinion on astrology. And I've only been studying astrology since 2017. So if you meet somebody that's been studying this shit for 40 years, please, they probably have a better understanding of it than I do. And I bow to them, really. The lady that got me interested in astrology started studying it in the 80s. And she was just like, I don't understand. You love numerology, but you won't study astrology. And I was like, it just looks so complicated. It does not anymore because I found the right teachers and I found the right books. Okay. So I do, when I see somebody that has a balanced chart and it's on either side, when they have a lot of planets around their ascendant and they have a lot of planets around their descendant, the opposite of the ascendant. You see what I'm saying? When I see that, they're probably trying to work with both moving ahead, but trying to leave something behind. Like they're probably trying to leave something behind from a past life, from something that they brought in with them. So I don't say that it's a struggle, but I kind of want to say it's a struggle. When I see people that have a chart and it's on just either end and there's nothing up here or down here, when there's nothing here and it's just all here, I see people that have a lot of struggles and they don't know where they fit in. They're trying to fit in. And so sometimes they try and express themselves like in a real crazy way. Um, I, Post Malone comes to mind, but I've never seen his chart, so I don't know. But I mean, you see the tattoos, but he's so talented, right? So you see instantly the first thing you see is all the tattoos, but he's so talented. So what did he bring in with him in this life that made him want to do this to his face or to his skin? And it's an expression. Hey, gun it up, man. It's your face. Do whatever you want. But what happened in a past life that he brought in with him for that to happen? And this is just an example. I've never seen Post Malone's chart. I don't know. He just flashed up in my mind. Okay. But a lot of people that have that like opposing energy like that on their ascendant and on their descendant, that release point, it is about what they have brought in with them from a past life that they have to deal with here. And sometimes these people get just so out of sorts and they have a real hard time like finding their way. They have a real hard time like fitting in somewhere. So they change jobs a lot. The best thing for them to do is like probably have their own business, depending on what those signs are. The best thing for them to do is do independent things. This is a lot of artists that I see that have that kind of thing with their chart. I see a lot of artistic things. Like with Jen's, hers were up and down. So that had to do with her midhaven, her career, what she's doing, right? The ascendant has to do with how we are presenting ourselves. That being said, there's two more things I want to go over before I tune off tonight. I know, I'm going over just a tiny bit, but one of the things that I took in a class, and I love this explanation. I did ask if I could use it, but she said she did not want me to use her name. So that's fine. Okay. Now, sun, moon, and rising. Here is a good way to look at it. It's cake. Okay. This was such a wonderful teacher. So imagine we're at a bakery. Okay. The frosting on a cake is your rising sign. It's how we appear when we first meet someone, and appearances are not what they seem, right? Looking at the frosting, you think you might like that cake, right? But you may not. So the frosting is one part of the personality, and it's how we appear to others. That's our ascendant. That's whatever sign our ascendant is in. Okay. When you first meet someone and you go, oh, okay, this is how they are. And really, when I first meet people, I always come across as like, because I usually have resting bitch face, and I come across as just like all the time. But really, what I'm trying to do is process, and I'm just trying to figure out who they are, what, where I can put them in my life. But that's the Capricorn ascendant. Capricorns are bitchy, man. I love them. A lot of Capricorns that I know. But yeah, I think resting bitch face comes from Capricorns. Sometimes. Capricorns and Aries, to be honest with you. Okay, so the next layer is the actual core of the cake. Let's take a slice of the cake, all right? And look at because there's no labels on it, right? Let's take a look at it and just say, okay, what do we got here? What kind of cake is it? That's our sun sign. That's our core personality. That's our sun sign. It's like when you start cutting into it, that's that part of the cake. Okay, that's our sun sign. Finally, you get to taste the cake. You get to savor it. And not everybody gets this, because some people will judge and just say, no, I don't like the looks of it, so I'm stepping back. And they won't take a sample. They won't take a taste. And if they don't, they miss this part, because the tasting, the savory part, how it tastes, is our moon sign. It's our moon sign, and it's not what we share with everyone. It's the hidden side that we don't just like show out to everyone. Even if our moon is in Gemini and we want to show that stuff, but Saturn's right next to it and it keeps us in check. Just letting you know a little bit about me. So that is the message here. Look at the sun, moon, and rising as a piece of cake, okay? The rising sign is the frosting. The sun sign is how the cake looks. When you cut into it, how does it look? Is it chocolate? Is it swirly? Does it have those cute little sprinkles in it? What is it? You know, what does it look like? That's our sun sign. And then our moon sign is how the cake tastes. So just to break that down, give you a good synopsis. It works. And it does help when you're reading stuff with people. Okay. Hey, Becky. Okay, Becky is the one that is doing the Reiki healing circle on March 20th in Villa Rica. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Hang on. I have it pulled up still. Here it is. Reiki Healing Circle, March 20th at 6 p.m. in Villa Rica. It's at High Vibing Health in Villa Rica. Oh, thank you, Becky. She put it in the comments on Facebook, and I will share it on Metaphysical Round Table's Facebook page again. Okay, so you can check out the event. It's very exciting. Again, I know several of you live out of state, and I get it. That would be kind of crazy for you to like travel. Like I said at the beginning, I mean, Nebraska, Colorado, Texas, we're okay. Y'all are forgiven for not coming. Yeah. Okay, here's the last thing I'm going to talk about before I sign off. How often do the planets change signs? This is kind of crucial, okay? So, Mercury follows the sun. Mercury pretty much follows the sun. So whenever you were born, your sun sign, your Mercury is either going to be in the sign before it, in the sign after it, or in the same sign as the sun. It's not going to be any further away than that, even if it's retrograde, because Mercury is a fast-moving little bugger. He moves fast. So Mercury changes signs every 14 to 30 days, and it can be longer when he's in retrograde, okay? Because we've seen how when Mercury retrogrades, he can go back into the sign that he was in. It's a back and forth thing. He moves fast, okay? So Mercury follows the sun. Anytime you are looking at someone's chart, the first thing that I look at is, yes, sun sign, but I look at the sun and then I immediately look at their Saturn, and then I start filling in the blanks. I look at their ascendant, their moon, and their Mercury. But Mercury is always easy to find because it's somewhere around the sun. Okay? Okay, Venus. Venus changes signs every 23 days to 2 months. It is roughly about 2 months-ish, depending on retrograde situations, okay? But Venus is usually not that far from Mars. Now, Mars went retrograde in 2022 and stayed in Gemini for 8 months. That was horrific. I did not enjoy that. I have a Gemini moon, and I was ready for Mars to get the hell out of Gemini. You know what I'm saying? So it did take some time for Venus and Mars to catch up to each other, but they're doing it now because Venus just moved into Pisces yesterday, and Mars is getting ready to go into Pisces. So they're not that far apart. But Venus moves a little bit faster than Mars. And what a shocker, right? Venus is the feminine, Mars is the masculine. Is anybody surprised by this? I'm not. I mean, really. So Venus moves a little bit faster than Mars at 23 days to 2 months to move through each sign. Okay? Mars moves about every 2 months. Every 2 months-ish, Mars changes signs. So these are just like kind of guidelines that you can look at and say, okay, I know Mars changes signs every couple of months, unless he's retrograde. Again, he stayed in Gemini for 8 freaking months. He got all the way to the end of Gemini, retrograded back all the way to the beginning, and had to shoot through it again. It was insane. And plus that, Mars in Gemini is revealing. Mars in Gemini is some kind of damn truth teller. It's like, oh, this is the time to uncover this. This is the time to explore. We don't need all that. I don't want to do that again. Hey, Glenda Pack. Hey. Oh my gosh, Glenda, I was talking about Aries earlier. And Glenda Peck is the sweetest Aries I've ever met in my life. Okay, Jupiter. Jupiter moves every 12 to 13 months. So Jupiter is in a sign for about a year. Okay, sometimes a little bit longer, but Jupiter is solid in a sign for a year. So Jupiter takes about 12 years to go through all the signs, where Venus and Mars take about 2 years to go through all the signs, and Mercury just shoots through all that shit and goes through all the signs in 1 year, just like the sun. Okay, Saturn. Saturn moves through all the signs every 2.5 years. So Saturn right now is in Pisces. Saturn is not moving out of Pisces until 2025. Maybe 2025, 2026, I think. Saturn stays in a sign for about 2 to 2.5 years. So it takes him 29 to 30 years to get through all the signs. Okay? So that's a long time. I mean, taking, 29 to 30 years to get through all the signs. But think about that. That's when we have our Saturn returns, right? We have our first Saturn return sometime between the ages of 28 and 32. We have our second Saturn returns 30 years later in our 60s. Excuse me, I just don't want to take another cough drop, you guys. I'm sorry, I keep coughing. So think about that. Like, this is the Saturn returns, is that it does take about 30 years for it to come back into that sign. 29 to 30 years is how long it takes Saturn to go through all the signs. Uranus stays in a sign for 7 years. 7 years. So it takes 84 years to go through all of the signs. You would think that's one of the longer ones, but it's not. Neptune camps out in a sign for 14 years. 14 years. So Neptune camps out in a sign for 14 years. It takes him 164 years to go through every sign. Cheers. And then we have Pluto. Pluto will stay in the same sign anywhere from 12 to 31 years. I think we've had a great example of it with Capricorn and Aquarius. Pluto stayed in Capricorn all total almost 16 years because of the retrograde stuff, but Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for 20 years. Pluto's not coming out of Aquarius until 2044. So he is dipping back into Capricorn for like a minute later this year, but I'm not really counting that. That's not what I'm talking about. Pluto will stay in a sign anywhere from 12 to 31 years. So it takes Pluto about 248 years to go through all the signs. Do you see why I said this was such a big deal? Having us be in the country in our Pluto returns. That's how I was seeing it, because the last time Pluto was in Capricorn and Aquarius was when we had the American Revolution, when we started this country, when it declared its independence from England. Yeah. And incidentally, when England, because I looked this up, when England had its Pluto returns, which has happened several times now, the first Pluto return, I believe, was when Elizabeth I took the throne, and she was the first successful female monarch of England. And I know she messed up a lot, but I mean, come on, she was a Virgo. She was going to mess up. I mean, she was, but she did it with grace. I mean, god dang, I fuck up all the time. I just try to be graceful about it. I apologize a lot. But the thing is, that's a big deal. So when you look at like different countries and when they're entering their Pluto returns, what is going on? What is happening? It's a big deal. It's monumental. And I kind of feel like our country's been going through a lot of big changes. I mean, don't get me started on some of the things that I think we're going backwards on. But that's for another time. That's a discussion for the coffee shop. Or us like having margaritas together. Yeah. Okay. I want to point out again some of my favorite astrology books and some of the things that I think are really, really good resources for you guys. This awesome book by Joanna Martine Woolfolk, the only astrology book that you will ever need. Did that ever go into focus? There it is. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. It looks like this, but the updated version, I have it too. The updated version looks like this. Okay, so I have the old and the new. Y'all, I'm sorry, my throat is just like crazy killing me. I have some other wonderful books. Remember that lady I was telling you about that had been studying astrology since the 80s that got me into this? She recommended the Astrologer's Handbook. And this series this is Planets in Youth and Planets in Aspect. These are a bit more complicated. They're a bit more complex. Very interesting, but it took me a long time to muddle through some of this information because it was very deep. It was very detailed. It was like trying to learn how to read by picking up The Hobbit, which I did read The Hobbit, but not when I was first learning how to read. It's kind of complicated. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I think we're going to wrap up the astrology series, is I want to talk about some of the asteroids, and I want to talk about like Lilith. It's a place. It's a space. It's like North Node. It's a space. It's not an actual like tangible thing. Okay. But I hear people talking about it all the time now. That is one of the last things that I wanted to show you guys on the screen is on Cafe Astrology. There we go. Monitor. Okay, on Cafe Astrology. This is cafeastrology.com. This is, excuse me, I'm so sorry about my voice, you guys. This is so wonderful. It just so much information on this site, and so much of it is free. If you do want to pay for any of the reports, they're not that expensive and they're well worth it. You can just go over here, click to astrology reports, and then you can scroll down and see all the different astrology reports and their prices. This one is $6.95. I'm going to scroll down to the ones that I've printed. I didn't print any of these. I printed. I know. It's here somewhere. There it is. Okay. I printed the Goddess Asteroids report for $6.95, and I printed the Iris Asteroids report for $5.95. Now, I want to show you what you get for that, just in case you think that I'm trying to sell you something, and I'm not, because I'm not sponsored by them. These are the two reports. This is one of them. See how thick that is? This is the one that is the Goddess Asteroids. That's a pretty hefty report there. Okay. And this is the Iris Asteroid report, still equally thick. I mean, well, it's not as thick, but it's a hefty report. This is actually printed a lot smaller too than the other one. So, you know, you still get a lot of information. So I don't want you to think that I'm trying to sell you on something. The free reports are fantastic. Fantastic. Because I know that I've shown you guys like how thick the report is that I got for my free birth chart report. I mean, it's also pretty hefty. And I think like Jen Stratman, I think you got that report too, didn't you? Your birth one. Okay, see, you guys, where did I put it? Oh. And it has a lot of detailed information. That is my personal birth chart report. Yeah, and it was free. And it just gives you so much information. It gives you like a breakdown of every single position, every single aspect, the houses, everything. It's awesome and it's worth it. I don't particularly like the way that they do their chart, but I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's just I have a hard time reading it. So this is my whole house chart. I did request that. It's a whole house chart because I wanted to see what that was. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is great. And here, look, I want you to see this. When I do the whole house chart, my midhaven is in my 11th house. Do you see that? Do you see that? When I don't do the whole house chart, it's in my 10th. So when I do the whole house chart, my midhaven is in my 11th house. And you see my ascendant here in the first house. So, but I did decide to do a whole house chart in that. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Love it. Love it. And you can see how all of my stuff is up top. And the only thing that I really have below is Chiron, Moon, and Saturn. So again, it's my emotions and my discipline that I keep to myself. And so that's that. Cafeastrology.com and astro.com. will give you some really great charts. Astro.com does not give you quite the report that Cafe Astrology does, but I like their charts better. It's very interesting. Okay, does anybody have any questions for me? Yeah? No? This is so much fun. I have had 2 requests now to go back and look at the tarot. I also just realized that I made a mistake and did not go back to Michelle's chart and look at that. And what I want to say about Michelle's chart is that Michelle is definitely an extrovert. Michelle is an extrovert with like a hint of introvert. I say hint because it's like she wants to keep her chaos quiet. Are you still here, Michelle? I'll print the chart. Oh, yes, I'll print the current chart as of today when I come in. Is that what you use? No, I use your birth chart. That second chart that you sent me, Michelle, the one that's your birth chart. Your birth chart is March 4th, right? Happy birthday. I mean, you know, late. But your birth chart, because your birth chart has we have sun sign in Pisces, Gemini rising, and then you have your moon is in 1 degree of Aquarius. Wow. Do you know that Pluto is literally sitting on that right now? That is so interesting. That is so interesting. And let me tell you, lady, you are smart. I don't know I don't know what you need to hear right now, but let me tell you something. You're a very intellectual empath. You're an extroverted intellectual empath. And I'm not saying that empaths are stupid, because I don't feel like we are. But I'm just saying that most empaths don't use like their mind, they use their emotions, they use like how they feel. They come into a room and they're like, how do I feel? How do I feel about this person? That's why they're so easily manipulated with a narcissist. But you are like looking at it and going, I know they're screwing with me. I know they're screwing with me, but I'm gonna let them have it, because I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I know they're screwing with me. I love it. An extroverted, like using how do I want to say this? It's like using your mind, using that like kind of thing of like empath. And you're a heavy empath there too, lady. Because you got so much shit in water. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. You're a lot of fun. I'm glad to have you in this group. I'm going to be real honest with you. I love it. Oh my gosh. You got some good, you really do. You have some very interesting stuff. I love it. But I love that moon in Aquarius energy. And it's really good because the moon does not like being in Capricorn. I mean, it's because the moon rules Cancer. So usually, you know, that whatever its ruler is, the opposite sign doesn't like being in that sign. You know what I mean? So the moon rules Cancer. It doesn't like being in Capricorn. Excuse me. Mercury rules Virgo. So Mercury doesn't like being in Pisces. Mercury doesn't like being in Sagittarius, because Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, and and Sagittarius is the opposite of Gemini. So they're very much like, they don't like being there. It's not their happy place. It really isn't. So the moon isn't really happy in Capricorn. It can deal, but it's not its happiest place. Like Neptune probably doesn't like being in Virgo. because it rules Pisces. Oh, Venus is another good one because Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So when you look at the opposing, the opposing signs of Taurus and Libra, Taurus is Scorpio, right? The opposing sign is Scorpio. So Venus is not like its happiest in Scorpio, even though it's a water sign. And Venus does love being in water signs. But Venus, you would think, would enjoy being in the fiery Aries because it's so passionate. And it is passionate, but it's destructive kind of passion when Venus is in Aries. Toxic, if it's a relationship. Yeah. I love this. I love this. You guys are so awesome. I mean, I talked to y'all for so long. I'm so sorry I'm keeping y'all. I love this group. I appreciate y'all being here so much. This is just, this is amazing. Okay, so don't forget to check out Gypsy Soul Surfer. It's a group on Facebook. If you haven't already joined, go join and check out her Reiki Healing Circle that she has coming up on the 20th of March. Then also don't forget to check out La Hermosa Bruja, the Beautiful Witch, because that is also a fantastic group on Facebook. She has a fantastic business and she does readings. I know. It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. As I've told y'all before, I've actually reviewed her packages and what she has. And Gretchen, I think, has bought stuff from her before too. It's awesome stuff. It's quality materials if you are looking. And that is the Beautiful Witch and the lovely Carrie Rodriguez. I have her stuff. Hang on. There we go. So there she is, that you can follow her on her website or her Facebook page. So La Hermosa Bruja, the Beautiful Witch. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? Is everybody good? Are y'all feeling good? And then let's talk about the asteroids. Let's talk about Lilith. I'll pull as much information. Y'all know I love to do research. I'll pull as much information as I can on this. And I do need to apologize to everyone who watches my videos on YouTube. I had a major hiccup. It didn't really involve anybody other than myself. I just had a major hiccup and everything got cattywankered. So my videos are extremely late. I did do them before the new moon in Pisces that was on Sunday. But I have not gotten them posted. I finally got 4 videos posted today, but I don't want to go into it. It's just been like a kerfuffle. And it's definitely been a personal one. I hope that it's just because it's perimenopause. But I'm just, just trying to muddle through this. So I'm getting back on track, I swear. But I got 4 posted today. I got the fixed signs posted today: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I should have the rest of them posted tomorrow. I am going to stay up a little bit later tonight and finish the edits and get them out. But I was also coughing a lot in those videos. So please excuse the edits as you're watching. I know. Monthly numerology's out though. Look, it's looking good. March is looking good. Even though we have Mercury retrograde kicking off April. Can you believe that shit? God, April 1st? Are you kidding me? April Fool's Day and Mercury retrograde? Who orchestrated that? Is there somebody I need to call? Do I need to send out a pigeon? That's some crazy shit, It's all right. It's all right. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Let me know if y'all have anything that you want to talk about. I am going to talk about the tarot after we wrap up all the stuff with the astrology. And remember, my email has slightly changed. It is now jennifer.metaphysicalroundtable@gmail.com. I did not write Gmail in there. God, really? Because I had a little invader in my yeah, I had a little invader in my stuff, so I had to change my email to everything. But that's what it is. It's jennifer.metaphysicalroundtable@gmail.com. That's where you can reach me. If you have any questions about tonight's show or any of the other live shows that I've done, or if you want me to talk about something specific. And my new website should be up and running soon so that I can post things for you guys to use, like astrology wheels or, birth charts or whatever, and other notes. I just can't post anything right now. The old website is so much fun. All right. Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Thank y'all so much for being here. Y'all rock the Casbah. You know you do. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate this group of people. You are just awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Oh my gosh. You know what that stands for. I'll see you next week. Yeah. And until then, get out there and make your magic. Bye.